Again, I want to thank you for being with us today. I'm Clay Williams. I'm the director of the Gulfport Biloxi Airport Authority. Again, very excited to be able to kick this project off. It started about 2 weeks ago, and it just happened to coincide with all the remembrance ceremonies that are ongoing to commemorate Hurricane Katrina. We all know the devastation that the hurricane wrought August 29th, 2005, but let's look at all the positive that's happened. Our Mississippi Gulf Coast really has been transformed in the last 10 years. If you look around, we've got new amenities, we've got new roads, we've got new infrastructure, we've got new hotels, and we've got a lot of things of which we can all be very proud. Not to mention is also the Gulfport Biloxi Airport. Many strides have been made since 2005. There's been an infusion of over $200 million in both public and private resources that have gone into the Gulfport Biloxi Airport. If you come to the airport property and you look around, we've got a brand new state-of-the-art air traffic control tower. John Hill Boulevard has been 4-lane, which leads into the air traffic control tower. Our cargo facility is located there. We've got a brand new FBO that was built by Millionaire in recent years. As many of you will recall, this was the FBO on August 29th, 2005, and they operated out of a double-wide trailer for 6.5 years after the storm. So really proud of the new FBO that we have. Again, we talk about bridging together public and private investment. If you look at some of the additional private investment that's been made outside of the FBO, have 2 new airport hotels that were constructed after Hurricane Katrina. There's a Hilton Garden Inn, Marriott Residence Inn, both of those. That was a $52 million investment that was made on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So really again, proud of the infrastructure. The projects continue today. We just reconstructed the touchdown zones on the main runway. We did that in partnership with the Mississippi National Guard, and we actually just finished a full-length parallel taxiway. It's been in the works for the last few years. A perimeter road has been built around the airfield at the airport. It circumnavigates the entire airfield where no vehicular traffic has to cross an active taxiway or runway. So again, really proud of the infrastructure, and last but not least, we have a 160,000 square foot terminal facility. It's easy to use, it's convenient, and it makes a very good first impression for visitors who come to the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So you ask, okay, we got the National Guard here and we got the Airport Authority here. What is the partnership on this particular project? Well, the partnership is a long-standing one. We've always had a first-rate relationship with the National Guard. We're a joint-use airport here at Gulfport Biloxi. The Combat Readiness Training Center provides our ARF, our aircraft rescue and firefighting protection for the airport. As I mentioned, we share in the funding of a number of infrastructure projects out here, in particular the runway touchdown zones reconstruction. 43%, a lot of people don't realize this, but 43% of the operations at Gulfport Biloxi are military. So again, it is a strong partnership. This hangar is the last piece of commercial infrastructure that's located on the guard side of the airfield. Part of the airport's master plan over the years has been able to transfer all commercial activity to the military for force protection measures, and just to have a solid base presence on one side and a solid commercial presence on the other side of the airfield. And so again, this signifies the transferring of this hangar to the Guard, and so we're actually the plan is the demolition has begun. The roof has been taken off. They're going to replace the roof, the walls, and at that stage we're going to turn the facility over to the Mississippi National Guard so they can utilize it to further enhance their mission. But none of this would have been possible without the support of a number of people. First and foremost, our most distinguished guest today, Governor Phil Bryant. Governor Bryant, we would not have had this opportunity to refurbish this historic World War II hangar. This hangar actually is on the National Register of Historic Places, and it's also a designated historic Mississippi landmark. So Governor Bryant, through his efforts and his support, helped us secure funding through the Mississippi Major Economic Impact Authority. That's an MDA program where funds can be obtained various communities can obtain those funds to help solidify and enhance the mission of bases that are in their respective communities. So again, this is a great project, not only for the community. I know Mayor Hughes is pleased to get the eyesore repaired here in Gulfport, but again, helps the Guard enhance their mission. MDA, I mentioned Sarah Watson is here today. Manny McPhillips with MDA worked closely with us on this project. I may forget a few folks today, but I did want to recognize some people that have kind of helped us throughout this effort with the National Guard. We've got Major General Augustus Collins who's with us today. He's worked with us throughout this effort. Major General Chrysler has helped us. Colonel Hall Sladner, who's recently retired, is with us today. He worked with us on a day-to-day basis on this project. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Drake and Colonel Paul McDonald. We appreciate your partnership in helping us with this effort. We really do have a lot of supporters of this initiative. We looked at going the federal route with this project through FEMA funds. Murtis Frank, T.J. Moran, others have helped us throughout that process, but again, we're able to do this with the help of our governor's office and through MDA at the state of Mississippi. A couple of other folks that I do want to recognize today. We've got a couple of former airport commissioners that are here. Frank Genzer has always been an advocate and been a champion for preserving the hangar, so appreciate your efforts in that respect. Richard Matheny was on the board as this project was underway, and really appreciate your efforts in getting us to the stage where we are today. Just a few others, if you'll bear with me. Our architect on the project is Mike Levitard. Mike, we look forward to seeing your work, your rendering here in a little while, so we appreciate your efforts. Warden Smith, contractors, you guys are already ahead of schedule. You like to demolish things faster than you do construct, right? a little more fun, but no, we're really pleased that you're working with us on the project. And I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize a couple of the staff that have been instrumental in pulling this event together today. Jimmy Braun, Don Shepley, Candy Webb, Pete Grundy, and Charlotte Nikes. Thanks for your efforts and your help. So before I introduce the next person, many of you know we have a three-commission governing authority at the Gulfport Biloxi Airport. Our three commissioners currently are Travis Lott, you just heard Travis lead us in the invocation, Lieutenant General Clark Griffith. General Griffith is former base commander at Keesler Air Force Base, also a former city council member in Biloxi. And then our third commissioner is the appointee from the city of Gulfport, and that is Brigadier General Joe Spraggins. I'll say a couple things about General Spraggins. If you look around and you see the first class facilities that we've got on this guard base, that's attributed to this gentleman in large part right here. He was very aggressive in going after funding for this base. I actually happened to work on the congressional side when he was advocating for the National Guard, and he was a strong advocate, and so he's to be commended for his efforts. But one more thing on General Spraggins before he comes up, and that is he had the weighty duty of being the executive director of Harrison County Emergency Management on August 29, 2005. He's got many a story that he can tell and did a fantastic job for us. But without further ado, I'd like to invite General Spraggins to come up and introduce our speakers today.
Thank you, Clay. You know, it's a privilege to be here, and Governor Bryant, thank you so much for taking the efforts to come down and be here with us today, and thank you for the efforts you've given us with the state of Mississippi for the last 4 years and the next 4 years. We appreciate you so much. Mayor Hughes, I can't say enough. Thank you for appointing me, and thank you for being our mayor, because I tell you what, you've really brought a lot to the city of Gulfport, and we appreciate everything you've done, and we want to see you for a long time. He's young enough to stay a long time, you know. I got to say a special thanks to a young lady named Murtis Frank, and I see her back there. Miss Murtis is Senator Cochran's right hand. She was Senator Lott's right hand for a long time. And that young lady, I tell you what, if you ever want somebody to do something for you, just ask her and get her on your side. Because that woman has done more things for this base and more things for the military down here, and I just want to give her a special You know, Senator Cochran, Senator Wicker did a great job for us, and they're still doing it, and they do wonderful things, and and Senator Lott did a lot, and all that base over there, a lot of it's his, and Senator Cochran had a lot to do with that also. and so did Congressman Palazzo and some other people around. General Collins, I can't say enough, but you know, you have done one heck of a job with the National Guard. And I tell you what, you have really led this National Guard to something that we can all be proud of. And I know you sacrificed a lot to do it, and hopefully you'll stick around 4 more years with the governor. And I say another general out there, General Al Hopkins, and that was one of my mentors growing up. That gentleman, I tell you what, you know, he's 35 years older than I am. And no, just a great man. He was Army Guard, I was Air Guard. He put me under his wing and kind of said, hey, listen to me and I'll try to keep you out of trouble. And then shortly after that, I was in trouble. And then, but he's a great man, and I appreciate you, General. Thank you so much. Our airport commissioners, you know, appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Y'all do a great job. And the 2 former commissioners, there's no such thing as ex. They're former like Marines. And, you know, because they're going to be here with us all the time. We thank y'all so much for your help. And, you know, Clay, he came to this airport a few years ago, and he turned some things around. And he's done a great job. Don't get me wrong. You know, Bruce Fralick did a good job too, and others there. But he has done a lot of good things, and he's really turned some things around. And I just want to thank you for that too, Clay, because you did a great job. You know, we have another person here that, for some reason or another, decided to ask me to go to work with him. That's the Director of Marine Resources, Jamie Miller. And Jamie took over a great organization at a time that was a little tough too. And Governor, I don't think you could have made a better appointment than what you did with him. So Jamie, thank you. We appreciate it. You know, we can talk about everybody. And I see Miss Kara out there. I tell you what, she was, she's been great to the city of Gulfport. She's worked with us, and she is my council person. So thank you, you know, and does a great job. But we got a lot of military here. Colonel Drake, I know you just took over. He, we won't say nothing about it. He went to the Naval Academy, but he did learn to come to the Air Force. So he did get out of that and was able to get to the right place there. But we appreciate you. You're going to do a great job. And once again, General Collins, great appointment. You did a great job with that. He'll do good. Colonel Hoss Ladner, where you at? There you are. He's a great guy too, and he is going to make a, you know, Hoss is not going anywhere. He's going to stick around with us. He'll be here with us for the long term. I want to say again, it's a wonderful day. And Governor, once again, I'm going to thank you again for this beautiful weather.
Thank you, sir. Brought it with me.
And now only 2 things I'm going to ask you. Either don't go back or leave it. Because we want to keep this beautiful weather. It is absolutely beautiful right here. Can you think about this and think about 10 years ago? 10 years ago, we were bracing for a national disaster. We knew it was going to be something major, but we didn't know what it was. We just knew there was something out there going to hit us, and it was going to be pretty good and pretty bad, and we didn't want to have to do it. But we were bracing for it. Hurricane Katrina came and changed a lot of things in South Mississippi. And it made a lot of changes to things that happened here. And if you look right behind us right here, that hangar was one of the things. It tore that hangar up pretty bad. But just like that, everything else that you look around South Mississippi and see, that hangar once again will be too. Just a beautiful, beautiful object to look at. And it will be something that we can have and we can enjoy and we can use for the military, and we can use it day after day, but we can also look back at it because the way it's going to be restored, it's going to be able to go back and look at our former military and remember them too about what they did and how much they did here in South Mississippi and Gulfport. Because that is one of the few, I think we were talking about it, maybe 2 left, World War II hangars in the southern part of the United States. And it's going to be here for us. And so, you know, as Clay said, I won't reiterate, but years ago it was used as a FBO. If you look across the field over there, if you get a chance, we got a beautiful one over there now. So everything is just getting better. Our goals when I got here in the National Guard years after that was to take the east side of this field and make it the all military. We want DOD, everything DOD, Department of Defense, right here. And so what we did is we tried to do that. And we worked long and hard at it. And I think this is our final straw, am I right? And this is our final straw in making this. Matter of fact, Colonel, I think Colonel Drake learned something from me. because he asked me a while ago, he said, when y'all got these bid hens, they was a little bit less than normal, can we use that money over here? He done figured it out, you know. He had a place to use it, so I think that's what we're talking about. But this will end it. This will be all DOD on this side. That'll enhance the security, that'll enhance the mission, that'll enhance the military's operation here. And it will keep us viable for a long time. And to have that at Gulfport Biloxi International Airport is a wonderful thing. I had the privilege of being the commander of this base from 1998 to 2005. And I enjoyed every minute of it. But we took an old World War II base. And when I say that, that's where it was built in 1940s, a World War II base, and we took that base and we tried to bring it up to some form of the 20th century. And we went to looking and talking and begging and doing everything we could to send it in the House and through the state and trying to get something done, and we were able to come up with several $100 million to be able to rebuild this base. And Murders was a big part of that, and Trent Lott was a huge part of it, but the solid partner was probably Cochran. And but we had some great people working for us, and we appreciate every bit of it. Gene Taylor, all of them, they were great with us. But we took it to where it is today, and you know what this is? I bet you if you ask Colonel Ladden and Colonel Drake, it is the premier training center in the Air National Guard in the United States. Am I correct? General Collins, Governor, you can be proud of that, knowing that you own the best. It is the best in the National Guard. And I believe if you ask everybody around, they'll tell you the same thing. I don't want to take up a whole lot more time, but I just want to thank y'all, Governor. I want to thank the senators and the congressmen and mayor. And also, I don't want to forget the Mississippi Development Authority. We got to keep them in there. Thank you so much for helping us. The National Guard, all our employees here, everybody for what you've done. You've really helped us a lot, and we appreciate everything that you've done to be able to help bring this day today. And we're going to once again have a great building to look at, and we thank y'all for that. But now I got the honor of doing another thing. I got to put my glasses on because there's a lot smaller print this time. But
Don't use it all.
I won't. All right. But I'm going to introduce Major General Collins. And just to give you an idea, Major General Collins is the Adjutant General, if you didn't know, of the state of Mississippi. And he is the commanding general for both the Army and Air National Guard. And he has provided the Mississippi National Guard and the United States of America with ready forces for more than 12,275 soldiers, airmen. And he works every day hard at it. I asked him how much he wanted me to read, and he said a little bit, so I'm going to kind of cut it short and tell you. But he's not only tested here in the state, he went overseas and ran with the 155 Battalion and did a great job over there for the United States. And I tell you what, you did a great job for the United States and for the Iraqis and everyone else there. A great person. He's been through just about everything you can think of. I could never name enough of his awards. But the biggest thing that I can say for him, he has stepped up to the plate to be the Adjutant General of the state of Mississippi, and I think has done a heck of a job. Ladies and gentlemen, General Collins.
Governor Bryan, Mayor Hughes, ladies and gentlemen, my comments will be short. Snake kind of took them all. But I will tell you that this facility back here to my right over here is a dream come true. Now I know you're looking at that building and you're saying that boy sure does have some strange dreams. but that facility and the Quest facility down to my left over there, those, like I said, those are the two pieces that stopped us from having one continuous military footprint all along this side of the runway. Starting at the TASM G, the 1108th down there, coming through the CRTC, and then the field maintenance shop here, and all the way down to the 890th Engineer Battalion. Now we'll have just one continuous military footprint, and all these fences that you see around here that separating everything, those fences are going to come down. And all this is going to be behind one fence, behind one gate. Security is going to be in place for everything that we have on this side. And that was a dream that I had, and I can't say enough about John Scott Hoss Ladner for helping us on this end to make that dream come true. So why do we need this facility? We need this facility to make sure our soldiers and airmen are properly trained. This time last week I was in Kuwait. I was over there visiting some of our soldiers and airmen, and I mentioned 1108 just a minute ago. They've got about 75 soldiers over in Kuwait right now doing depot level maintenance and repair on Army aviation over there right now. Colonel Stan Boudridis and his team are doing an outstanding job, and I'm not just saying that. Those are the words that came from the senior military officials I talked with when I was on the ground over there. In fact, we've got probably about right at 400 soldiers and airmen on the ground over there right now. We've got our 185th Aviation Brigade that's over there, and they are actually managing all the Army aviation equipment in the theater in Kuwait and Iraq and Saudi Arabia, all over that facility, all over that area of operation over right now. They're in charge of all of that. Got a small cell of 298th Corps Support Battalion out of Philadelphia is over there. We've got the 2nd of the 185th Airfield Operations Battalion. They're doing operations in Ali Al Salim, in Camp Buren, and in Arifjan. They're spread out there, they're handling all the air traffic control over right now. And then we've got our civil engineer units from the Air National Guard up in Jackson. Had an opportunity to see those guys while I was there, as well as some of our security police from Jackson over there. So it's important that we make sure we got facilities where we can train our soldiers and airmen so that when our nation calls, they can answer, but also when the citizens of Mississippi need our help in the event of a disaster, we can also answer. We do have the best Combat Readiness Training Center that you'll find anywhere in the country. But you don't stay being the best by sitting on your hands. You got to keep moving every single day. This facility will help us improve ourselves as far as the Combat Readiness Training Center and the TASMG. We're going to probably use both of them in this facility and in the Quest hangar down there to increase our capability to where we can continue to answer those calls when our nation and our state calls us. Like I say, this is a dream come true. It might not look like much now, but you come back when we get finished, and we're going to have another ceremony and let you see what it looks like. Thanks.
Thank you, General Collins. Good afternoon, everybody. As you can imagine, there's been a lot of press here covering a lot of events, and there's going to be even more before the week's up, and it's for all the right reasons. But in one of the interviews, they were asking me about the climate and about seasons. I said, yeah, we got seasons. It's hot and kind of hot. So with that in mind, I'll keep my remarks short, and also with Clay and Joe taking the balance of the 20 minutes I was allotted for this. So this is a period of reflection and thanks, and also promise. But I do want to thank the commissioners for their service and their work. Richard Matheny was telling us that he wanted to make a point that he's actually older than this. His dad had a hand in building this particular facility. Joe, you talk about Al Hopkins being one of your mentors. He was one of mine, but I was able to overcome that. So, I'm glad to have you here. And we've got a lot of folks. Is anybody here that wasn't introduced before? It's always special to have the governor down, reflecting back, and it's nice to see buildings like this. We do have some remaining eyesores in the city, but not very many. And it's nice to see a structure find its purpose. You know, this thing has had a mission, whether it's been in the public sector, the private sector, the military, and finally I think we've got the right fit for it. And I was looking back at that picture over there, and the airfield looked a lot different, the styles of airplanes do, but we have a great appreciation for our military. And if you haven't been notified, I hope you have, but anybody in the uniformed service, we hope you will join us on Friday in honor of all our first responders who have made a difference, not just during the hurricane, but forever and always. But it really is for those who responded, and Governor Bryan has had a huge hand in making sure we do a proper recognition. As you know, former President Bush is coming down for that event as well. So we want to honor you and hope that you'll come out. But mission readiness, mission expansion, the impact that you have is critical to our country, not just our community. You know, the governor asked me, he said, is this your domain? I said, well, this is yours too. And it's all of ours. And the military is so crucial. Anything we can do to help you with your mission enhancement and move forward and make a difference in our community, we are grateful and honored, and it is on top of mind for us. So I'm glad to see this structure, like so many things in this community, reborn. and I know it's going to be done in the right fashion for generations to come. So thank you and God bless. I want to introduce a fellow who really doesn't need an introduction. This is kind of his second home as far as I'm concerned, and talking about his domain. I've had the privilege of serving, not just knowing Governor Bryant, but serving in the trenches with him, alongside of him at the Capitol for well over 20 years, and now in this capacity. And if he's anything, he is consistent. Consistent for his support for our military, his love for our state, and his dedication to our community. And but for his leadership, I think we would have been behind the curve with a lot of our recovery. When the hurricane hit, he was in his capacity as auditor, but that didn't mean he couldn't come down here and make a difference. And when he took over as lieutenant governor, he made sure we had the proper funding placed where we need it, people appointed to the proper positions, and he continues to have a huge influence as governor, and I trust it'll be for at least 4 years more, and who knows what the future holds beyond that. So Governor Bryant, if you'll come up, he's going to be staying here, and he's on duty for a long time over these next few days. We've got a lot packed in. We're just honored you come to hang out with us again. So
Thank you,
want to join us. Thank you.
Mayor, thank you so much. Thank you. Commissioners, Clay, it is good to hear speakers brag about you. General's bragging. Good words about Clay. I think this would be a most opportune time to ask for a raise, if I were you. Mayor, this is your domain, and what a great job you are doing as a people's servant. Now, Billy Hughes and I have known each other for over 20 years. As many of you may remember, he was my president pro tem of the Mississippi Senate. Helped organize and lead the senators, and that is not an easy task. As any senator, any leader can tell you in the House or in the Senate. He did a remarkable job then. He's doing a remarkable job as mayor. Mayor, thank you for having me here today. General Collins, thank you for your leadership. As I was beginning to select leadership for the Mississippi National Guard, Army Air National Guard, General Collins' name came to the forefront. As I was completing my review of that appointment, I called General Honore. Some of you may remember General Honore, and as he appeared in New Orleans and began to take control of that disaster with the famous words that was uttered by a military leader, "Don't get stuck on stupid." That was General Honore, a no-sense commander. As I called him, I was excited and enthusiastic about having an opportunity to even talk with this great leader. And I said, "Tell me about General Collins. Tell me about Augustus Collins. You served with him. I hear great things about him. He can't be that good." He said, "Let me tell you, we were in the triangle of death. General Collins was there. Everyone was trying to kill Americans. He was the best combat leader I had." It's General Honore. General Collins, quite a testimony for your leadership, sir. And thank you for what you've done for many, many years. And our men and women that are here today in uniform, Air Guard, National Guard, it is so good to see Army, all of you here today. I am always excited and enthusiastic when I get an opportunity to be among our Mississippi National Guardsmen, men and women. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for your service to our state, to our nation. God bless you. After the storm, I had many opportunities as leaders in state government to come down to the Mississippi Gulf Coast. In fact, I tried to get here as often as I could. I arrived that first Sunday after the storm, as so many did, with a pickup truck and water and supplies that had been donated by my church. Time and time again after that, we would fly in for one event after the other, one challenge after the other as auditor and then lieutenant governor. For the last 10 years, this restoration has gone on. And I have been in office in one capacity or another ever since. During that time and until today, when we began the final 10 years of this restoration. Now, I believe we are restoring forward. We're 10 years strong. But as we would come in here, it seemed that each time the devastation was overwhelming. As you would come into the Gulfport Biloxi Airport, and I would see this hangar, and I would go in the WWII that served as that FBO and meet leaders of FEMA and the national federal government that would come in, state government officials that we would bring through here. And this building was here damaged, old, torn. Many people would say, "Are you going to tear that down?" I said, "Well, we're not sure." We really hate to do that. It's on the National Register. It's an historic location for us. It was built in 1944. Many of our men and women in uniform have served here. We're just going to see if we can't save it. People would say, I think you need to tear it down. No, I think we may just keep working on it. As I got to be governor, we looked at the possibility of using funds at MDA and how we might match funds with portions of the funding from the airport authority. And we were able to hobble it together because we need this mission for our men and women in uniform. Now, I will secretly tell you, I was looking for a purpose in which to base a restoration of this building. I'm an antique guy. I like old cars and old buildings, old guns. You know, I just think they have a rich history, and this is part of ours. Imagine, if you will, the stories that could be told, the experiences that were had, the soldiers and airmen that came through this facility. It represents, I think, what happened during that storm. It was old and it was damaged and it was torn down, but it will be new again. It will rise from the ashes of that storm to be a great, new, modern facility once again to serve our military. I would hope that generations from now, perhaps governors and mayors, congressmen and senators will come to this site, perhaps to dedicate it again in a historic time of leadership. And remember this day. We came together again to remember the loved and the lost, those 238 Mississippians that lost their lives during that storm, but also to celebrate the future. You see, this is a perfect symbol for where we're at. What has gone on before, what has been damaged, and what we thought was lost is now again new, is now again prepared to serve, is now again a standing testimony to the endurance of the people on the Mississippi Gulf Coast and our men and women in uniform. If anyone in this nation wants to see determination, let them come here. If they choose to see resilience, let them come here. If they want to see a people who love and honor their military, let them come here. This is our moment and our time. We are restoring forward, and today is a great opportunity for that purpose. God bless you all.
Yeah, you can do that. It takes Look at this, at the ball field after Katrina.